Lazy freeloader, get out. While I was exhausted from childcare and accidentally dozed off, my husband kicked my belly, hurling nasty words at me. He used to be so kind and caring towards me. However, ever since we got married and had our child, he changed completely. Always making excuses like he's too busy at work or he's tired, he never helps with childcare. On top of that, he rudely refers to me as lazy because I'm always at home. I want a divorce. I felt that way, but given the current circumstances, I couldn't make that move easily. Then one day, I ran into my old boss and obtained some valuable information. Thanks to the support of those around me, I finally took steps to get back at my husband. My name is Jennifer. I'm a 40-year-old housewife. I live in an apartment with my husband, John, and our son, James. Though it might seem like we're a perfect family with a child, in reality, we're far from it. I've been constantly troubled and hurt by my husband since our child was born. I met my husband at a singles mixer. I was 34 back then. I was working as an office worker, and my colleagues somewhat forced me to join the mixer. I was like, who goes to mixers at 34? Feeling a bit out of place, I sat in the corner sipping my drink when John approached me. He was also dragged there by friends. We hit it off and started dating, which eventually led to marriage after a few years. For a while after getting married, we enjoyed our life as a working couple. Then one day, during our usual life. Hey, Jennifer. Don't you think it's about time for us? Time for what? Having kids. I think we should start thinking about it. John broached the topic of having kids. However, I wasn't enthusiastic about it. I loved my job and wanted to continue, and above all, I wasn't confident in raising a child. At first, I was against it, but John convinced me. He was like, please. I promise to help you out. And I eventually gave in. Looking back, that might have been the moment I started doubting him. Later, I got pregnant. Around the same time, I left my job to become a housewife and gave birth to a healthy baby boy. We named him James. Several years later, my son, James, grew up wonderfully and is now 3 years old. I'm happy about it, but he's a bit of a handful and mischievous being a boy. Lately, he has trouble going to sleep at night. And I have another concern. It's about my husband. Before we had a child, he would say things like, I'm gonna be hands-on too. But once James was born, he did practically nothing. At first, if I asked, he would help. But nowadays, when I sometimes ask him to take care of James, he's like, why? I'm exhausted from work. You're just lazing around at home all day, so it's natural you handle everything. Even on his days off when I ask, he's like, I want to rest on my day off. He never cooperates. I'm like, since he's our child, you should take care of him. Then he's always like, huh? Who do you think is making money? I'm working hard and making money, so you're able to live. You aren't working, so don't interfere. Indeed, it's true that thanks to my husband's job we can maintain our lifestyle, so I couldn't argue further. I've endured, biting back my words almost every day, always thinking that it's thanks to my husband that we can live this way. Jennifer. I'm here. Oh, Mom. Sorry to trouble you. It's fine. I want to see my grandson once in a while. That day, I had invited my mother to our apartment. My body couldn't keep up with the constant solo parenting, so I had asked my mom to help out just for that day. Anyway, James has grown up so much. Oh, by the way, I have something for you, Jennifer. What? My mom took out something from her bag and was like, this one. A baby monitor. Place it in James's room, and I can rush to him if anything happens. Are you sure? You don't even live nearby but came all this way. Don't say that. I already bought it, so it'd be a waste if you don't take it. Saying this, my mom handed over the baby monitor. Having received it, I placed it in the room where James's bed was. That night. I'm home. Welcome back. My husband returned from work around 6 p.m. Soon after coming back, my husband was quickly getting ready to go out again, changing into casual wear. Huh? You're going out somewhere? What's up? You got a problem with that? You could at least tell me where you're going. Ugh, so annoying. I'm going to the casino, all right? The casino. Again? My husband had recently gotten hooked on casinos. Apparently, he discovered the fun of it when he went with a coworker before. Everyone has their own hobbies, and going to a casino is fine, but my husband spends a significant amount of money there, and our finances are in a bad shape. Enjoying your hobby is fine, but don't spend too much money, okay? And remember, we have James. What? Are you saying we're short on money? That's probably because you can't manage our finances properly. What does having James have to do with anything? Must be nice for you, staying at home all day. And now you won't even let your hardworking husband have a hobby? After all, I'm the one earning the money, so I have every right to spend it how I want. My husband angrily headed towards the front door with that. When I was feeling completely exasperated by the selfish husband, I noticed something. My husband was unusually peeking into James's room. What are you doing? What's that thing on the shelf? It's a baby monitor. My mom gave it to us. Oh my. Always relying on others, even though you're just sitting at home all day. Well, if you got it as a gift, I guess it can't be helped. But don't you dare ask for help from your mom. With that, my husband left the house. Regarding the camera, I surprisingly agreed with John. I never intended to rely on my mom just because we got it as a gift. But we had no idea that this camera would lead to such a situation. One day, it happened. 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit. James had started running a fever since yesterday, and having been with him non-stop, I caught the fever as well. Hey, John. What? What is it? I'm sorry, but James started having a fever since yesterday. And now, it seems like I've caught it too. Can you maybe take a day off today? Are you kidding me? You can't just drop that on me and expect me to take a day off. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. But can you at least come home early today? Look, I'm busy with work. And all this happened because you can't take proper care of James. You brought this on yourself, so I don't want to hear it. With that, he angrily headed off to work. Though James had a fever, it seemed he was feeling much better, energetically running around the house. I hadn't caught a cold in a while, and combined with the recent lack of sleep, I felt quite dizzy. Even in this state, I had to look after James and ensure all the household chores were done perfectly. If not, there's no telling what my husband would say. Come evening, James finally took his nap. All right, time to prepare dinner. Just as I thought this, I suddenly felt drained and collapsed into a deep sleep. The next thing I remember was being awakened by my husband's shouting. Hey! Wake up! Are you listening? What? You finally wake up! You're always home, lazing around, and now you take a nap? Must be nice! It's not like that. As I said this morning, I'm not feeling well. Stop making excuses! I told you this morning too! It's your fault for not taking care of yourself. Always lounging at home, can't you even do the house chores? Lazy freeloader, get out! When my husband shouted that, I felt a pain and was like, ouch! Hey! What are you doing? He had kicked my belly while I was lying down. Even as I cried out for him to stop, he wouldn't listen. Just when I thought he was done, he was like, fine. I'll eat out tonight. Make sure everything's done by the time I'm back. And with that, my husband left the house. Why did this keep happening to me? It was not like I just lazed around because I was home all the time. I took care of our energetic 3-year-old son and managed the housework for my husband. Despite all this effort, being called lazy just because I was always at home is too much. I was at my breaking point. Tears streaming, I resolved to divorce him. However, at that time, neither my husband nor I knew. Someone had been watching this whole scene. After deciding to get a divorce, I quickly began preparations. Firstly, I knew that to raise James on my own, I'd need money. For a long time, I'd been a housewife, and my husband's income wasn't that high. Not only were the costs of raising James too high, but with my husband spending money on casino, we hardly had any savings. Because of this, I had to find a daycare for James and work to save some money. But, he got rejected from the daycare again. Seems like reality didn't always work out. Despite applying to every daycare in our neighborhood, he got rejected from all of them. At this rate, I wouldn't be able to go to work. I couldn't rely on my family since my dad had been recognized as needing fully care and my mom was busy looking after him. At this rate, it wouldn't just be divorce, I wouldn't even be able to leave the house. Feeling lost, I took James with me to do the day's shopping. On the way to the supermarket, I bumped into an unexpected person. "Are you by any chance, Jennifer?" "Hey, Catherine." This was Catherine. She was my boss at my previous job. "It's been a long time." "Long time no see. How have you been?" "Oh, is this your little one? He's adorable." "Hey, how about grabbing some coffee?" Accepting Catherine's offer, we headed to a nearby cafe. "Anyway, it's been such a long time. You've got a kid now, life must be good?" Catherine immediately asked about my family. I hesitated to tell her the truth, but since I used to confide in her a lot in the past, I decided to share. "The thing is, it's not. Actually, I've been thinking about getting a divorce." I then gently explained the reasons leading up to considering a divorce. Catherine, though surprised, listened with empathy. "I see. So right now, you're looking for a place to take care of James and a job, huh?" "Yes, that's right. But I haven't had any luck with either." "Well, we're short-staffed at my place. If you're up for it, how about coming back to work? If it seems feasible, I can talk to the management team. I also know someone who babysits, I can introduce you if you'd like." "Oh, I feel bad accepting so much help." "It's fine, really. No rush, but if you decide, just let me know anytime." Considering I had James with me and had to prepare dinner before my husband came home, we decided to call it a day there. While I felt sorry, I felt a bit better after hearing some valuable information. "I'm home." I had finished shopping and just got home. I stopped for some coffee at a cafe, so I got back a bit late. After taking off James's shoes and returning to the living room, I was faced with a scene I wasn't expecting. "What? Why are you here?" To my surprise, my mother, who shouldn't have been there, was sitting in a chair, crying. "Mom, what happened? Is something wrong?" "That's what I wanted to ask you. I saw it, Jennifer. I saw John kick your belly." Apparently, on the day I was running a fever and collapsed into bed, she had been watching the footage from the security camera. After a while, she saw my husband kicking me. Concerned, she quickly arranged for my father to be placed in a day service, freed up some time, and came over. I had placed the security camera my mother gave me in James's room, but the door had been slightly ajar that day, and she could see everything from that gap. "Jennifer, things aren't going well with John, are they?" Until now, I didn't want to bother her, so I kept everything a secret. But now that she had seen it, I couldn't hide it anymore. I told her everything, that my husband never helped with childcare, that he was emotionally abusive. I thought she would ask me why I didn't tell her sooner, but she just listened, nodding silently. After I finished talking everything, she was like, "You've done well holding up till now." She then patted my back. I was so moved by her kindness that I started crying. After I had my cry, I consulted with her. "You know, I'm thinking of divorcing him. I think I can find a job, but I can't find a place for James. And I know it would be hard for you since you're taking care of Dad. There aren't many daycare options available. So, I'm not sure what to do." "Don't worry about that. I can take care of James. I was actually thinking of placing your father in a nursing facility soon, so the timing is perfect." "Really? Are you sure? I feel bad for Dad." "It's okay. Your father would understand. I can't just stand by and do nothing when my own daughter is going through so much." "Thanks, Mom." That was how all the problems I was facing regarding my divorce were suddenly resolved. Everything seemed to be falling into place. Maybe this was a reward from God for all the hard work I've put in. With my job situation sorted and having found a place for James, I began to move forward with the divorce. First, I started by packing to move back to my parents' house. I'd already told James to say bye to his daddy for a while and we would live with his grandma. James was still little, so he didn't seem to fully grasp the meaning, but he appeared excited about the new life ahead. Honestly, managing household chores, childcare, and preparing for the divorce were super tough. But my mom came over often while my husband was away and helped out in various ways. I gradually sent my belongings back to my parents' house. I also reached out to Catherine, ensuring that my return to work would be smooth. And finally, the day came. Take care. As I saw my husband off to work, I started making the final preparations. Mom, you can come out now. My mom had come over the night before to help out for this day. My husband, when he returned from work, typically only went to the living room, bathroom, and his own bedroom, so I had my mom sleep in James's room. I was worried he'd noticed, but since he never helped with childcare, he never entered James's room. So we got through the night unnoticed. The fact that things belonging to James and me were gradually disappearing from the house, and he didn't even notice my mother staying over, what a clueless man. With my mom's help, we packed all my stuff into the car and had a service take them to my parents' house. Well, thanks for everything, Mom. You sure you're okay? Maybe I should stay with you. I get your concern, but I'll be fine. I'm gonna settle this, promise. Saying that, my mom took James and went back to our family home first. Lastly, I packed up all of my husband's stuff into boxes, shipped them to a certain place, and waited for him to return from work. I'm home. Welcome back. Huh? Why are you dressed like that? You usually wear those boring gray sweatshirt. You going out later or something? Ignoring his usual sarcastic remarks, I took his belongings. Unaware of anything, my husband just walked into the living room as usual. What the hey? What's all this about? What my husband saw was an empty living room, devoid of any furniture. Panicking, he rushed to check his bedroom, James's room, the bathroom, and the toilet. Hey! What's going on here? Of course, it wasn't just the living room that was empty. Every room, the bathroom, the toilet, they were all empty. My stuff's gone, James is missing, hey! What's going on? Explain. Don't you see? I decided to terminate the lease and move out. Moving? Why did you decide that on your own? Well, first of all, this apartment was rented by me, so it's only natural I do what I want with it. Oh, is that so? So where's this new place? I bet James is there, huh? We better hurry. Leaving James home alone is dangerous. New place? I don't have one, John. What? It's obvious, isn't it? Because we're getting divorced. Divorced? What are you talking about? There's no way you, who haven't been working, can raise James on your own. Stop with that ridiculous idea. The one with the ridiculous idea is you, John. I've decided to return to my old job. I've found someone to take care of James, so there's nothing to worry about. No, you're the one who's crazy. If we divorce, you're gonna have to pay me compensation, right? You've been a housewife, and I've been supporting you. You'll have to pay me that compensation. You don't even have that kind of money. You really gonna go through with the divorce? What? I was too flabbergasted to even speak. At the last moment, my husband seemed to think he was in a position to receive compensation. I took out my smartphone and played a voice recording. It was a series of verbal abuse comments my husband had thrown at me over the years. After hearing this, you still think you're gonna get compensation? Also, about not being able to pay compensation, I could say the same about you. Especially since you always blow your earnings on the casino. Humph! Anyone can fake that nowadays with AI. That can't be used as evidence. Now, if there was actual footage, that would be a different story. It exists. What? I then showed my husband a video from the day he kicked me. Why do you have that footage? No way. Yes, that's it. Remember that baby camera I showed you the other day? It recorded everything. And my mom saw it all live. Do you still think you can talk your way out of this? You're lying. My husband's face paled as he seemed to realize he was backed into a corner. It served him right. Well, isn't it about time? As I said that, my husband's phone rang. When John answered it apprehensively, the person was like, "What on earth have you done?" The caller was my husband's mother. In fact, after seeing off my mom and James, I had sent my husband's belongings to his parents' house. Afterward, I contacted my husband's mother and explained the whole situation to her. I also told her that I was going to discuss divorce today and asked her to find the right time to call my husband. This was followed by a good long lecture from her. Jennifer told me everything. I've seen all the recordings and videos. What's with that attitude? The reason you can go to work every day is because Jennifer takes care of everything at home. And yet, you don't even thank her, and you treat her so poorly. I didn't raise you to be like this. Listen to what Jennifer says and come back home right now." And with that, my husband was taken back to his family's home. During the lecture, my husband was like a broken robot, just silently listening. "So, are you gonna confirm you contact the lawyer and leave quickly?" When I said that, my husband just agreed to contact a lawyer who assists the divorce process and slowly left the house. Finally, I was able to put an end to my life with my husband. After that, I left the apartment and headed back to my family home. I got a restraining order from the police just in case my husband decided to come to the family home, as I didn't want him around. I submitted the audio recordings and footage from the camera as evidence. It seemed he might even face arrest based on this evidence. I communicated with my husband through my lawyer. Apparently, my husband was like, "I want to take back the divorce and try again. I'll do better next time and I promise I won't do anything like that again. Please forgive me." But after all the horrible things he did, I didn't ever want to deal with him again. I was like, "I'm never going back, and I don't ever want to see you again." I made him promise to pay child support. After leaving the apartment that day, my husband obediently headed to his parents' home. My husband's family's home was quite far from the company he worked at, so he couldn't commute anymore and eventually had to quit. My husband loved playing the casino, but it seems he can't do that anymore since his mother manages his money now. Regarding his job, when I explained the situation to the apartment landlord, word got around to other residents, and somehow, the news reached his company. He would have had to resign sooner or later. "Well, I'm off to work now, please take care of James." "Don't worry about it. Come on, James, let's have some fun with Grandma." I've successfully returned to work. Thanks to the kindness of my colleagues, I feel comfortable at my workplace. James is very attached to my mother, and we live happily every day. I truly feel blessed by the people around me. I hope to repay the kindness of those who have supported me by moving forward with a positive attitude.